Hi everybody, I am back for video 142 of 365. I'm Samantha and I'm a therapist, and I'm creating a video every day for a year to get better on the camera and get through the fears of social anxiety and insecurities and all of those things that I've struggled with my whole life. So this is really helping me being on camera. I recommend it for anybody who is having trouble with any of those things I just listed. And just to help you get better in general by being able to connect with yourself, by being able to see yourself on camera. It's super humbling and really helpful. So I highly recommend it for anybody who's interested in starting a channel. I just highly recommend it. Anyway, today, I've got some notes today so I stay on track because you know I ramble. And so I heard a quote today. I think it was from Myron Golden. If you know who he is, he's absolutely awesome. If you don't know who he is, check him out. He's a really good speaker. He's awesome. Old keys don't open new doors. I really like that. What do you think about that? Old keys don't open new doors. Well, that kind of encompasses what we do here. An old key is going to be your old thought patterns. That is never going to open a new door, is it? It's going to open the old door every single time you think that same way about yourself. So we've got to stop that, right? It sounds so easy, doesn't it? But we don't do it. And so we kind of almost self-sabotage because we know what we could be doing, but we don't do it. I don't know if you guys have heard where they say, stop shoulding all over yourself. I think that's hilarious. Stop being a should head. Like, I think that's kind of funny, kind of cute. It should be a t-shirt. I might make one. Don't be a shithead. That's really funny and really dumb at the same time. But yeah, I like funny, dumb things, dumb, funny things. So stupid, they're funny, that type of thing. So anyway, yeah, the old keys don't open new doors. I thought that was really cool because we really are trying to open those new doors with the old keys. And we can't do that. We've got to switch over from the old self to the new self, the old identity to the new identity. Now, when you're switching to the new self, that old self is going to pop up a lot, like a lot, until you shift your identity fully 100%. And you're going to know when you've done that because you're going to see your external world look different and your internal world will feel a whole lot different. Like you're going to feel more at peace. You're going to feel like you're more stable. You're going to feel like life is easier. You're going to feel happier. You're just going to feel more content. Like, wow, is this really how I can feel every day? The answer is yes. And remember that everything that you're thinking right now has been programmed since your childhood. Everything has been programmed into you. And so watch your triggers. They call them triggers. So a trigger is just something that elicits an emotion in you, or a feeling, or a thought, or whatever the case is, that may not feel so good. And then we talk to the mirror. So everything around you is mirroring your state that you're experiencing inside. So don't argue with the mirror. I argue with the mirror sometimes. Happened this morning. And I had to check myself. You know, you got to check yourself when you're looking at your world and something is not the way you want it. You've got to go within yourself and say, okay, what have I been doing? What have I been doing internally that would make this show up outside of me? What is this person, this event, this item, this whatever that just happened? What is this trying to show me about me? And you want to immediately notice it and describe it the way that you wish that it actually was. Right in front of you. Just immediately describe it as, no, it's this way now. And start practicing that because this will help you not spiral. We tend to spiral. We go in and we see this trigger outside of ourselves. And we look at it and we say, that's the truth. That's why we react to it. I identify with this. That's why I'm reacting to it. When you don't identify with it anymore and you don't agree with it anymore, whatever it is that's happening, then you won't have an emotional reaction to it. So you have to basically stop agreeing with what you're seeing out there and agree and remember what your vision is. Agree with yourself and what's going on internally. So you want to know what your patterns of thought are, because if you're not aware of who you're being and possibly why you got there, you're going to keep on that track. And so can we switch identities immediately? Yeah, we sure can. We can make that quantum leap and just become that new person. We can do that. But I find that we don't stay there long enough to be able to actually do that. Like at some point, something knocks us off our game a little bit. We let it knock us off our game. That means we're not practiced enough at maintaining that stability inside. So it's just, I think being a human is a very difficult job at times, because we're a spirit having this, physical human experience, if we want to call it these things. And we forget that we have so much power. And then we look at our life and we're like, yep, that has the power, not me. When we're the ones that are creating it, and we just forget our power. So I'm here to remind you of your power, that you're imagining 24/7. You're imagining something all day long. Are you imagining lack and scarcity? Or are you imagining abundance? Think about that. Really think about what is my state? What is my internal state mirroring back to me? Look at your life. Look at it and say, is my bank account negative? Does it continue to be negative? Has it always been negative? Have I always had trouble keeping money around? You got to look back and say, what thoughts and beliefs do I have about money and myself in relation to money? Do that with your relationships. If you've got a pattern in your relationships, I think we all do with certain people. We have some patterns. We got to watch what we're thinking about. We got to watch what we're thinking about ourselves and the other person. What are you assuming about yourself? What are you assuming about the other person? Sometimes we're really hurting ourselves with our thoughts, and we're hurting others with our thoughts. We don't realize that what we're thinking about somebody else is actually hurting them. They can feel it, and they're responding to us through energy. Like, they may not know why they're responding the way they're responding. Same with you. You might not know why you're responding, because these thoughts and beliefs are so ingrained in you from so long ago that you don't even know, you're not even aware of them. So I feel like we go pretty unconscious a lot of the time. And so the goal is to become conscious again. And I think we're taught these days to go pretty unconscious a lot of the time, like to almost run away from ourselves and like identify with all the distractions around us, because we've got our phone on us 24/7. That's the number one thing I think that's changed the world in good ways and not so good ways, but it's kind of a way to like distract us from ourselves, and we're kind of like running away from ourselves. So the goal is to run back to yourself, because that's where the power is. There's no power outside of you. You can create anything you want outside of you from inside of you, just by changing your beliefs about yourself. And so I love, as I've said before in many videos, I love to go within my imagination, because we're doing it anyway. You got to remember that you're imagining anyway, so you might as well go inside your imagination and start thinking of some things that you want. And then you align your identity with that. You say, okay, if I am this person that has this, what would I be thinking? What would I be feeling? What would I be believing? Because as soon as you identify with that person, your thoughts and feelings and behaviors are going to be in alignment with that identity. And then you're going to notice some big changes. Sometimes you'll notice things that happen that are opposite. And I look at it like the old self is kind of collapsing, and you got to give it a little bit of time to kind of let the energy dissipate and dissolve. But your goal is to stay steadfast in who you want to become. Who is this person that you want to become? One thing you can do is ask yourself, okay, how would calm me respond to this particular situation? How would the non-anxious me respond to this? How would the trustworthy me respond to this? Like, if you trust yourself, how would you respond to what's happening outside of you? If you're trusting in your vision, why are you going to respond in a negative way and argue with the mirror outside of you? Why would you do that? Because we're addicted to it. We're addicted. So remember, you're breaking an addiction to yourself. You're just breaking the addiction and the habit of thinking the way you've always thought that was programmed into you. I remember they used to call, I don't know if they call them this anymore, but TV programs, radio programs, they were programming us, if we want to have a play on words there. They're programs. Everything you're watching, everything you're listening to, even me right now, I'm programming you, hopefully in a good way. That's my intention. But we can consume too much content too, so watch what you're consuming. Don't be on YouTube all day long either. You know, take what you hear, take some notes, and then go implement. That's what I want everybody to do. Implement. Take this advice and implement it. Let it sink in a little bit, but don't. Here's a kitty. I don't know if you can see her behind me. That's Macy. But take this stuff and implement it and try it. Use your imagination. We'll talk more about getting into flow state and some other exercises that I can give you guys to try that are really cool from Neville Goddard. But start with, what would calm me say to this? Or whatever words you want to use. What would non-anxious me say? How would, if I were not anxious, if I were not self-sabotaging, if I were actually secure in myself, what would I be thinking instead of what I'm thinking now? You've got to be aware of what thoughts you're thinking on a daily basis, because you're guaranteed to think about 90 to 95% of the thoughts you thought yesterday, you're going to be thinking today. And that is a lot of the same thoughts. 60 to 70,000 thoughts we have per day. You're never going to change all of them, of course. We want to change the ones that are the most dominant beliefs that you have about yourself. And a lot of times it's, I'm not good enough. So this is where I come in. I want to help you program your self-concept into one that is totally secure, totally steadfast in who you are, stable, unwavering. You know what your vision is for yourself and for your life. And you don't let any self-doubt come in. You don't plant the seed and dig it up the next day and say, where the heck is my stuff? Why is this not different? Why has nothing changed? Nothing's changed because you haven't changed yet. Keep that in mind. If you change, everything else will change. So all the power is within you. There is nothing to change but yourself. And that, when I learned that, I jumped for joy. Because I was like, man, it's going to be hard to change myself in some areas, but I'm going to do it. I can't change these other people around me. And that was like futile effort, trying to change people outside of you. Oh my God, have you ever tried to change a cat? I have 3 of them. You can't change cats. Changing a cat is like changing another person. It's just impossible. You're not going to do it. You got to train a cat. Can you train a person? It's a little harder. But can you go inside your mind and become a new person that would elicit a different behavior from a person? Yeah, you can definitely inspire others to change, but you can't change them without changing yourself first. So you got to go within yourself and decide, who do I want to be? Who am I being right now? And who do I want to be? And then you align everything from that identity. So we'll keep talking about this. I'll be back tomorrow. If you like this, please smeesh and smash and meesh and mash the like button. It would really help the algorithm, apparently. I guess it's helping because a couple of my videos have been getting more views, and that's awesome. So if you thought that this helped you and you think it might help somebody else, please share it with them. I would be so appreciative of that. And if you'd like to subscribe, please do, and join me and join us as we create a community throughout these next few months. I'm really excited. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all so much, and I will be back tomorrow. Bye.